It can be common as parents just to put our child into soccer or piano, hoping that they'll be the next Mozart or whatever the case might be. But when your child comes and says, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to be Mozart, I don't want to be the next best football player, what do we do when they want to quit? Because it can be the end of a dream for parents or an end of a dream for a child. What do we do?
Well, I think, we always talk about our children finding their passions.
Right.
Very often passions are something that are built. It's not something that happens overnight. So our children need to learn to persevere with something, to discover what their passions are. Okay. But also we need to be careful that we're not overscheduling our children. Some children might be utterly exhausted, so that there's that. So it's not a simple answer, but I think it's really looking at what are we trying to teach our children in encouraging them to stick something through.
Right.
So it's really looking at character development.
Not to quit.
Yeah, so what character traits are we building in our children? We're trying to build adults who don't just give up their job at the drop of a hat if they've had an argument with their boss or the project gets a little bit too difficult. We need to be teaching our children resilience, and resilience is sticking through when things are hard.
Right.
And sometimes when you're a little bit bored or your team's not winning, those are the times kids will say, well, I'm done, my team's just not at the top of the ladder. And so it's encouraging. I've had to do this in my own home, where I've had to say to my kids, you know what, none of your friends feel like sticking it through either, but you've all committed. Commitment means we stick it through to the end of the season at least.
Yes.
And then we can revisit it at the end of the season and make a decision.
I like that you say that, because I do have a good friend who recently got her child to complete something that she didn't want to complete. She wanted to change, she wanted to go from jiu-jitsu to dancing. And her mum told her, well, we've started this, let's finish it. And that's one thing that she does with her children, is make sure they complete whatever it is.
And that's a great skill, because even if her daughter feels like it's boring or she's sick of it, you learn to push through when stuff is boring or hard, because that's life. That's absolutely life. Right. We also would look at children's temperaments. Okay. Some children are just want to not go ahead with something because they're afraid of failure.
What if they're really bad at it?
Yeah, and you know what? That's also okay. Sometimes it's good to stick through something and still learn some of the skills, or stick with something if you're not fantastic at it. Yeah. You might then change at the end of the season, but you don't just give up because you can't do something.
Right.
I think it's also important, though, we might just check for some children, if they're continually saying, I want to stop, we might investigate. So perhaps attend a practice and see, is there bullying going on, or is the coach yelling a whole lot? There might be factors we could look at, but in general, we want to bring up children who can persevere and persevere in the hard stuff. And the hard stuff for kids is their sport or things that are day-to-day for them. That's the big stuff for our kids.
And what's good, thank you so much, Collett, because I think what we're doing here by telling our kids to keep persevering is teaching them resilience. So important as parents. Thank you so much, Collett, for those tips.